Warning: the following video contains extreme levels of bias and mediocrity and therefore should not be watched by anyone. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everybody, it's been a little while since I've done a personalized video like this, but I didn't have anything better to do, so I decided to record a video, whether that be to your dismay or not. So, I play Dead by Daylight. It's a game of cat and mouse, except you're a bloody murderer trying to kill 4 survivors, or you're the survivor trying to not be killed by the bloody murderer. Now, you kill the survivors by placing them on sacrificial hooks. However, there's an add-on you can bring, or they're called offerings, I suppose, that allows you to just kill the survivors with your own weapon. It gets them out of the game a lot faster, makes it a lot easier for you, but many consider it to be very cheesy, as in using it as cheesy. Every killer has a unique animation for how they kill the survivors. Some are better than others, and I'm here to rank those today. Now, you probably don't care, but I'm going to do it anyways. So, although the killers here are in a very random order, I will be doing them in order, and I will have a little helpful infographic on the screen to show you what the order of the killers is. You see there it is? Yeah, very useful. Good editing. Okay, so we start with the Trapper. Very bad Mori, but to be fair, he was the first killer to come out, and therefore he had the first Mori. So the animation style has improved vastly over time, but you had to start somewhere, right? He basically just kind of smacks the survivor in the back and the head with his cleaver, but you don't really see much model altering, you know. His was okay, but there's definitely plenty of better ones to come. The Wraith, however, I would say has the worst one, because from the survivor's perspective, you can't even see the survivor getting hit. He just kind of smacks the air with his weapon, and then he's done. The Hillbilly, however, probably has the best one out of all of these. If it'll let me do it, there we go. The Hillbilly, out of all of the basic killers, I should say, he has a chainsaw, and he uses that chainsaw in his Mori to cut the person in half. The person's model doesn't change, but you get the idea of what he's doing. I'm showing all the Moris on screen, by the way. So after the Hillbilly came the Nurse, and the Nurse's Mori is definitely better than the other 3, but I wouldn't put her super high. She she strangles you, and then she gives you a little love hand thing on your face at the end, just to make sure that you get the idea. So yeah, Nurse is okay, not great. After the Nurse came Mr. Michael Myers. Not great. It's supposed to replicate what he does in the movies, which I think is respectable, but it's just boring. Like, it just kind of stabs you in the stomach twice, and then he throws you to the side. The only thing keeping him out of D tier for me is just the way he throws the player. But not above Nurse. So after Michael came the Hag. And the Hag's is pretty good. I'll put Hag up in A, because she just is really hungry when she wants to kill you, and she just chows down, giving you a little bite to your neck, a little smooch, and then she just rips some organ out of your stomach and noms on that, and then she's done. Pretty good. Anyways, then we have the Doctor. The Doctor, I would put him above Michael, but not above the Nurse, because basically all he does is just shocks your brains out and then flips you over to see that your eyes are smoking, which is not good if you didn't think that. Okay, then we had the Huntress. Probably gonna put her in the low B tier. There's no other way to put her in low right now, but we'll get there eventually. She gives you one swift crack to the head with her giant axe, and then proceeds to chop your body up a bunch, and then she's done. Then we have Mr. Leatherface over here, who I would put above the Huntress, but not in A tier. So he smacks you in the head with his hammer, it's brutal, and then he revs up his chainsaw, and then he cuts you in half while you're kneeling on the ground. Lovely. Then we have good old Freddy Krueger. Now, that's not where I'm putting him, I'm just getting it up here. Freddy is interesting because, like Michael Myers, his Mori is replicating him in the movies, because, you know, he's a movie character. But his is not nearly as bad as Michael's, because Freddy has an interesting camera angle, and there's blood that splatters all over the camera, and it's really cool. So I would put him above Leatherface. Then we have Amanda Young, aka the Pig. Hers is not great, better than Michael's, but I'd probably say it's better than the Doctor's too. She just really gives you one swift chop to the neck, kind of like what happened to Tap in the movies. A lot of these movie characters have Moris based on their movies, but that was just to be implied, you know. So, she slits your throat, and then she goes on with the day. After her, we have the Clown, who in my opinion is an S-tier Mori. The Clown, what he does is he stomps on your head a bunch of times to make sure you're dead, and then he chops off one of your fingers with his knife, gives a little lick, and then he puts it on his chain, and then he runs away. Pretty good. Okay, after the Clown we have the Spirit. She, I would say, is probably low A tier. Her Mori is, she takes the blade that's stuck in her hand out, she stabs you through the back with it, and once she pushes you off, she just chops you up on the ground a bunch. And then she screams at the end, which is great. You go, wham! I'll play that clip. So, she will be an A tier. Probably not above the Hag, though. So, after the Spirit came the Legion, which is, I might be biased because I love this guy. And I think their Mori is actually really cool because it shows a struggle between the survivor and the killer, which most of the other ones don't. So I will put him in S tier purely for bias. Probably not as good as the Clowns, though. So the Clown will go above the Legion. Next we have the Plague. If you're trying to just piss your opponents off, then her Mori is perfect for it, because basically, she recites a prayer, she lifts you up, and she vomits in your face. Who wouldn't want that? She's high A tier. Then we have Mr. Ghostface over here. I'll put him in high B tier, which I know is kind of stupid because of how funny his Mori is, but when it comes to the actual killing, he just kind of stabs you in the back 3 times. And then he takes out a camera and takes a selfie. Cool. Not bad, but there's better ones. Actually, you know what? I'll put him here, and I'll put Spirit in high B. Then we have Demogorgon. Just noms on your face. It's very satisfying, though. Probably below Spirit. He just kind of grabs on your face, and he shakes you around while it's inside of his mouth, and yeah. Oni. Oni's probably gotta be low S tier for me because it's so drawn out and you can tell a lot of effort went into it. Like, so basically what he does is he stabs you through your chest with his sword, he rips your tongue out with his bare hands, he squishes it in his hand, and then he smashes you a bunch of times with a wooden stick. It's pretty brutal, but it's pretty good. Then we have the last 2 killers. We have Deathslinger, who in my opinion is the top of A tier. So what he does is he stabs you with the harpoon on the end of his gun, he points you up in the sky, and then he shoots his gun, having the harpoon come out of your mouth, and then he kicks you off of the harpoon, and then he just reels it back in, which in my opinion is pretty satisfying. Finally, we have the Executioner, whose Mori is, I would say, A tier, not as good as the Deathslingers though. So what he does is he lifts you up into the sky, he wraps you in a bunch of metal and barbed wire and stuff, and then he sticks his sword in your stomach. He twists it, and then all of it disappears, and you fall to the ground. Cool. I'll be showing every Mori. I don't know why I'm saying this, you would have already seen it, but all the Moris are being shown while I talk about them. But that's pretty much it. I might do other tier lists because these are actually kind of fun to make, I'll be honest. But other than that, that's all I got, so thanks for watching, and goodbye.